The privately owned company Travel Corporation, TTC, was founded by Stanley Tollman, who since the 1950s built the global travel empire along with his wife Beatrice. Today, which is more than 4,000 employees with operations in over 60 countries. The company is chaired by Stanley and managed by four generations of the Tollman family, with son Brett Tollman as president and CEO. The Travel Corporation owns top respected brands in the escorted coach tour operators industry, such as Trafalgar Tours, Insight Vacations, Brendan Vacations, Contiki, etc., etc. It has a river cruise operation with brands like Uniworld, Boutique River Cruise Collection, and a large FIT operation with Creative Holidays, Brendan Vacations, African Travel, World, as well as sightseeing tour operation, Evans, ATT Kings, and other companies. The company also owns and operates boutique hotels through its Red Carnation Hotel Collection, great collection of hotels, small European boutique hotels in Europe, South Africa, and USA. And I welcome my friend Brett Tollman, President and CEO of the Travel Corporation and Vice Chairman of the World Travel and Tourism Council, WTTC.
It's certainly been a challenging year when you look at some of the economic and climate and natural disaster tragedies that we've had around the world. And our hearts certainly go out for those in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, certainly at home in America at this point, obviously with the terrible flooding issues going on in Mississippi and Alabama. So one obviously is dealing with all those issues as human beings and obviously in business. So over the last 12 months we've had to deal with that. Obviously we've just passed the 12-month period of having had the anniversary of the ash cloud. So over the last 12 months I'd say some of the most challenging issues have obviously been dealing with and working around those, as well as strikes by British Airways, strikes in Greece where we certainly send a lot of tourists. And I'd say some of the best things have been how we've operated through that period, how we've been able to ensure we've taken care of our customers, getting them home and repatriated them as best as we could from Egypt and other such destinations in North Africa. The inverse of that is obviously the loss of business into those destinations. Our Tosca River cruise ship was doing extremely well, and obviously the staff working there have been impacted. Certainly the local economy, the local people there, it's been devastating on. And then obviously you look at places like Australia and New Zealand where we operate and sell from as well, and those economies have impacted. But when you take all that into consideration, our business is doing relatively well. We're about flat or slightly up depending on the market that we're selling from and operating into. And again, just put our hearts out to everyone who's been impacted in those areas, and certainly commend our staff for the amazing job that they've done during that period.
It's not everyday kind of challenges at this massive volume, so to speak. So they've met the challenge.
Day by day, customer by customer, and it's certainly been something to deal with. But that's the amazing testament to the human will, the human spirit to adapt and change. And you look at Japan and obviously how that amazing society and culture have responded and reacted to their devastation. And I think, certainly one can only revere and respect what they're going through, and it puts all of our challenges in a very small box by comparison.
What's being planned that's interesting for the coming year?
Okay, so great excitement. We're working very hard on our tour operators, Trafalgar, Insight. We're really taking the lead, we believe, in the initiative to reposition the experience, the value, the quality, and the service that our customers can experience with Trafalgar and Insight going forwards in Europe. We're really lifting the bar from experiences with our culinary tours, our experiential tours, family holidays, and really trying to ensure that they're appropriate for this culture, this demanding client that's out there today that can and should expect as much as they should for the price they're paying for consistent high quality of service, experiences and value. So that's on the escorted tour side, or guided vacations as Trafalgar calls them today. We've obviously invested a lot, as you know, in our river cruise side and doing extremely well with Uniworld. It's up about 25% year over year. We have one of the best new ships in Russia, brand new ship on the Douro in Portugal, the magnificent super ship, the Antoinette, on the Rhine, and so that's going very well, and we're very pleased and proud of all the progress and success that that company is having. But that said, again, in these very complex and ever-changing times, we're always vigilant on never resting on our laurels and being ever careful that we're doing everything we can to deliver on that service promise, as well as being a great employer.
And your brands, your companies rely on travel agency distribution. And has this channel changed in recent years, and do you foresee it changing in coming near years?
I think all of our channels have changed to one degree or another. Obviously, right now in the room next door, we've got a big discussion going on with the likes of Orbitz, Google, and Expedia, talking about social media and search and so forth. But nevertheless, I think, and we still absolutely believe, that the travel agent community is vital and essential to almost every age demographic. The one exception for us, unfortunately, has been Contiki in the United States, where, unfortunately, despite valiant efforts, I think, on our parts, many of our travel agency partners just don't seem to be able to connect with the new and upcoming, basically, next generation of their customers. And so we've been forced to really look at going more consumer direct with Contiki and the youth generation. But with that exception, we are 100% committed to being a very trade-centric partner, and we believe there are an incredible group of agents and agencies out there that will remain relevant and in demand and continue to be successful.
As you were saying, the session next door talking about online travel agencies, social media, and such. Where does social media and such you think might fit into
Sure.
your brands?
Okay. So for some years we've completely embraced TripAdvisor, for example, with our hotels, which we think is the one and essential online source for providing user-generated content about people's stays in hotels. The founder was just talking about how they're expanding into restaurants and vacation rentals and so forth. But so for our hotels, we actually embed TripAdvisor into our websites because we fully embrace it. 1,500 hotels in London in a 4 and 5 star category. We work so hard at service that typically 3 or 4 of our 6 hotels in London are ranked in the top 5 within TripAdvisor. So there's the two sides of it, using social media in conjunction with providing outstanding service to help share great experiences from our customers with other people. On our tour side and river cruising and other products, I think the key for us and our focus now and in the future will be all about user-generated content, helping ensure that our customers who've had a great time can connect with friends, family, and potential other customers who are looking for feedback from people who've experienced our products as to how good they were, what the value was like, what the experience was like, as well as obviously that conversation exchange of, I have a question, I bought this holiday and I'm going to this destination, can you give me some tips and so forth. And putting those people together, I think, will be vital. It's part of the buy decision with our travel agency partners, and we're certainly engaging and looking at those aspects of social media from both technology and collaboration with our travel agent partners on how to do more in that area going forwards.
Under your leadership, the Travel Corporation has, in recent years, embraced sustainable, responsible tourism through various sponsorships of organizations. The foundation has been very generous around the world, but it's still the beginning, it seems. Where do you see it? What ideas do you have moving forward?
So obviously we all can and need to do more. As the gentleman from Oxford Economics said, we are close to a tipping point, as we've heard for some time, that if we don't do more, climate change will really overtake us, and that affects everyone. So it's a never-ending job. So from our support of Tourism for Tomorrow with WTTC, recognizing best practices that can then be shared with anyone and everyone within the industry, I think is very important, and we'll continue to do that. This year we took a change with the Conservation Foundation, and we've allowed 5 of our key brands to partner with specific projects and allow each of them to focus on those projects. So Trafalgar is working with the National Trust in the United Kingdom, who preserve important natural habitat lands and great homes that were ceded to the government, and obviously with the government's economic challenges, they've cut back on some of those funds. So Trafalgar's working on that. Insight's working with a university out of Scotland who work to identify, protect, and restore famous battlefields throughout Europe that, again, a lot of our customers are very interested in and certainly want to see and experience based on their prior generations. Uniworld was beginning to embrace the government in Egypt and the other 299 some river ships that operate along the Nile to try to work together to clean up and protect and preserve the Nile. And we hope to restore that project, obviously maybe post the national elections coming up in September in Egypt. 80 Kings in Australia continues to work with WWF, with the local indigenous community in the Northern Territory in the Kimberley area, to help that community really identify the importance of tourism to their community, to their culture, and the economic potential that it brings to them. And then Contiki just signed a fantastic new initiative with Céline Cousteau, the granddaughter of Jacques Cousteau, and we're working with her on one oceanic project and also one other. So Contiki's working to obviously do a very small but important part in whatever we can do to help contribute to protecting our oceans.
Brett Tollman, CEO, President of the Travel Corporation, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate your time. It was great to see you.
Likewise.